Hello and welcome to this video on RPA by Workato. Today we are going to talk how to install the robot software. So in order to begin your development of screen-based automations, you need to install the robot software on your laptop. In order to do that, first go to HQ and then click the settings and then click the robots. Up here you have the download robots button. Once you click on that, the installation files will be downloaded. As for prerequisites, the robot software works only on Windows-based operating system. It can be a desktop OS or a server-based Windows OS. If you are running Mac, then your option is to provision a virtual machine either on your laptop or somewhere in the cloud, or run parallels with a Windows installation. Same thing applies if you're running on Linux. The reason for Windows-based software is that most of the business apps run on Windows, but we will be working in the future on providing support for Macs. So okay, let's run the installation. So you run your MSI that has been downloaded, and it's a pretty simple and straightforward wizard to go through. So we click next, we accept the license agreement, we choose the path where we want to install the software, and then we are presented with a choice where we need to choose either development robot or the unattended robot. Now the question is, what is the difference between those two? And let's maybe dive a bit into this. So the development version, as the name suggests, is used primarily for developing screen-based automation. And using development version bot, you can only run the development stage processes only manually when you're inside the process designer by clicking the play button in the HQ editor. And there's also a useful keyboard shortcut F5 to run the process. So you cannot run the processes unattended using the development version of the robot. And additionally, once the process has been completed, you will see the job log in HQ, but it won't be permanently stored in HQ. The unattended version, as the name suggests, runs the processes unattendedly, and those are the processes which are in test and production stage processes. And those processes that are run unattended, they have permanent job logs in HQ. They can be started through RPA by Workato connector. You can create a schedule. You can also do an API call from a third-party vendor. And it can also be started manually unattended from the list of the processes if you click the play button on the test or the production versions of the processes. That being said, both versions share the same components, and we can say that the development version is a subset of the unattended version of the bot. So the unattended version of the bot only contains a couple of additional components that enable it to run unattended. So you can develop also by installing the unattended version as well. We are going to cover the installation of both versions in this video. Okay, so let's go back to our installation wizard. If you select the development robot, then it's pretty straightforward. You don't have to change any of the values, and you just click the install and you'll be ready to go. So you can see that development version is basically next, finish type of installation wizard. I'll go back and we'll cover the unattended installation. So we'll pick the unattended robot installation, and here we have to provide a couple of settings. So in order to fill these fields, first you have to go to the HQ, and there is a button called Add Robot, and then you provide the name for the bot. I'll call this demo bot. There are a couple of options here. Video streaming. So if you click enabled on this, you'll be able to see the one-way real-time video stream coming from the virtual machine, which is useful for monitoring the processes. User session logout is a property that determines what happens after the process is completed. If this is enabled, then the bot will log out of the windows. If it's disabled, it will stay logged on. If you are installing the unattended version on your laptop, I would suggest to put this on disabled, because each time you run the unattended version, you'll be logged out of the machine. But for production and testing purposes, the best practice is to keep this enabled, because after the process is completed, the bot is logged out and you are leaving the machine is in a consistent state. If you leave it logged in, an app might stay open because of an error or something like that, and then you might end up in a inconsistent situation. And then we need to kind of subscribe our bot to departments. So we have a concept of departments. Processes are stored into departments. So we can select, that this particular bot is going to listen to the test and production jobs for the demos department. And we can share the bot between multiple departments and multiple stages. So once we configured everything, we can click Save. And then we will get the client ID and the client secret. So let's copy the client ID and we'll go to our installation wizard. We're going to replace this with our client ID. Then we'll go back to the HQ and copy our client secret, and then copy that back into our installation wizard. And then what's left is the tenant name, and the tenant name can be actually copied from the URL for accessing your sandbox. So we are just going to copy this value and put it in our installation wizard. So we provided all these values. The one on the top we don't have to change. And then we are coming to the second screen where we need to provide the username and the password for connecting to Windows. Because when the robot runs unattended, it will need to log to Windows, completely automatically. And that's why it has to have the username and the password. So if you want it to install with your own username, you'll have to put in your username and password. But the best practice is to have a dedicated bot account with passwords that are not expiring, so you don't have to change the password each time that the password is changed. If you're not sure what is your username, the best thing is to run a command prompt, and then there is a command called who am I, and if you run that, you will get your domain and your username. The thing here is that we also, if your account is part of a domain, you need to also copy the domain. So we're going to select the whole thing here, and then we are going to copy that into the username. I'm going to put in my password, and there are a couple of options here. So if your account is an administrator on this machine, you can select robot credentials and admin credentials are same. Then this boxes will go down. If you want to provide admin user, if it's a different account that runs the admin rights, you can provide it here. This admin is used when we want to do remote update of the installation files, but in most cases the account that's running the bot is usually the admin on the machine as well, so I'll select this. Regarding permissions, you don't need to be administrator to run the bot on your machine, but you need to have the installation rights in order to install the application, or you need someone from IT to do the installation for you with administrator rights in order to just get the installation, the initial installation done on your machine. So once we are ready, we can click next, and then the bot is going to get installed. And let's just confirm this. So everything is being installed. As you can see in the background, the status of the bot is not installed. Once everything is installed and connected, the bot will become available, and then we can run the jobs on that machine. So yeah, we're just going to wait for a couple of seconds for everything to be copied and installed. You can have multiple bots, multiple machines installed and connected to the HQ. And then you can assign different machines to different departments. And with this, you can kind of scale and distribute your workload against multiple machines. This provides you parallelism, and this provides you with capabilities to kind of also satisfy the SLAs. So the installation has been done, and we can see that our bot is now available. So we can run the jobs in different ways that we've described. So yeah, this video explains how to do it. There are various complexities when it comes to deploying production versions. All of that you can read in our documentation in our knowledge base. Thank you for watching this video.